Law of Attraction, Lessons from My Energetic Chaos. Once we start consciously applying the teachings of the Law of Attraction, things can often take unexpected turns that really throw us for a loop. We may visualize a relatively straightforward trajectory where we start shifting our limiting beliefs, changing perspectives, and what have you, and we start feeling better. The stuff we want starts showing up and we live happily ever after. That is actually kind of what happens, but there can also be some other stuff thrown in. We don't realize this shifting can be a process. We don't realize that we don't get to a point where we are done. We often forget we are human. If we decide we're into this whole conscious creation thing for the long haul, we must realize we will be constantly leveling up, and that entails bumping up against all sorts of shit that we may have mistakenly thought we put to bed once and for all. But as our consciousness expands, the truth of who we really are sinks in ever more deeply, and you'll constantly be casting off all sorts of limiting beliefs and fears, as you set your sights on bigger and bolder things, as you really begin to live this stuff more consistently. As you become more of the energetic being you truly are, any vibrations that don't support your awesomeness will be felt that much more acutely. This is because you have gotten off autopilot, and are actually aware of your inner world. Any stuff that doesn't lend itself to maintaining a higher vibration more consistently will be much more noticeable and will quickly make itself known. On one hand, this shift is gradual, and you may not realize how much you are changing. Then one day you stop and assess, and you realize that over the last few weeks or months, you have actually come really far, and are really different. But then there are times when in a very short period, you have major realizations and major shifts. Something just falls into place. Some sort of concept you mostly understood on an intellectual level starts to become truly known to you. It clicks on an emotional level, and you are really living that truth. You realize how much you have been fighting the transition, how much you have been holding onto the old paradigms, how much you have been holding onto the past and all the stories. Why you don't have what you want becomes glaringly obvious. You may have been swearing up and down you were in alignment, but you weren't even close, and holy shit, is that clear now. And it's cool, don't beat yourself up. And your vibration begins rearranging itself big time, and this can be a really disorienting. You are open to the transition and ready to embrace it, but your mind may be freaking out big time. It fears moments like these because in moments like these, you are really moving forward. You may not become some perfect, enlightened being, and you'll still have your human moments, but you've turned a corner. You've reached a new level, and there will be no backsliding. You may feel very out of sorts energetically, you may feel a range of energies simultaneously, or find you switch from one kind to another very rapidly and without any obvious trigger. You feel great and terrible at the same time. Your mind may constantly be questioning your new reactions, perspectives and choices, unused to this new way of being, unsure why you are not doing the usual freaking out, complaining, and the like. Things have been interesting for me lately. This post was inspired by my own experience I have been having the last 6 weeks or so. Chaos may be a bit strong of a word, maybe more like disorientation. But it's been intense at times. There were just so many realizations I have been having. I had these huge shifts in my energy that I know are permanent. They are not some short-lived boost courtesy of some outside manifestation that made me feel good. There are things I have always known, nuggets of wisdom I have applied in my life with great success, but now I feel like I really know them on a much deeper level than previously. It is hard to put into words what has been happening, and it is not something that I can easily sum up in a sentence or two. But the result of it has been super interesting to say the least. My sleeping patterns are all thrown off, several bouts of late night eating fueled by boredom and anxiety, when for months on end, I rarely ate past 6 or 7 in the evening, feeling really drained and fatigued, weird feelings all over my body, getting really sick, encountering situations that trigger some of my biggest issues, and not really freaking out about it, but just being with it. The manifestations themselves are not really remarkable in any way, and they aren't these big terrible things, but like always, the perfect manifestation to show me what I need to see. I have had some major bouts of what we would traditionally deem laziness. I might spend hours watching TV, then take a super long nap because watching TV really takes a lot out of you. I am going through all sorts of uncomfortable stuff, but I'm not resisting any of it. I am actually kind of liking it. I'm enjoying dissecting what is happening and seeing what insights I come up with. I might even dare to say it excites me because I know it is all for my highest good, and it is indicative of some major shifting. And I largely chalk that up to knowing that all the crap that may not feel great isn't real, it's all an illusion. I just let it do its thing and know it's all good, that nothing is going wrong. In the midst of all of this craziness, I have also manifested lots of awesome things in all areas of my life. And I have done less in this span than I have in a while, though I must admit I was never a big doer to begin with. I have been getting lots of great ideas. My relationship teleclass series started last week and I have gotten such great feedback on the calls, and I am loving doing it. I am working with some awesome clients who I suspect are going to make major shifts during our time together. I have really been enjoying spending time with my family and friends. I am truly enjoying and appreciating home in a way I never have since I started traveling and coming back for visits. That's the thing about this work, we'll go through all sorts of discomfort as we shift our energy and change who we are, but the suffering is optional. That doesn't mean that we put pressure on ourselves to feel all happy. It is important to let ourselves feel our feelings. But we get to choose how we feel about all that, and how we view it. That is where we can keep the suffering in check. If we realize that all that stuff is actually serving us well, helping us move closer to who we really are and what we really want, what is there to be so bent out of shape about? My energetic chaos has been the best thing to happen to me in a really long time, and I am learning so much from it. And as per usual, I want to pass it on to you guys in hopes it will be helpful for you too. Just go with it. One of the reasons I have been handling all this upheaval so well is that I have decided to just go with it. I am not looking at it as a bad thing, and therefore I don't feel badly about any of the things I have been doing that us growth-oriented folks would beat ourselves up for, like watching a lot of TV or polishing off a huge chunk of mozzarella cheese with an ice cream chaser at 1 in the morning. I know I won't be in this energetic limbo forever, and while it has been very consuming in many ways, I haven't gotten totally sucked in. I have still been doing my blog, exercising pretty regularly, meditating and other stuff, but if I wasn't, that would be okay too. And I also know this won't be the last time I have this kind of experience. I suspect my relaxed attitude and lack of resistance to all that is happening energetically is what has allowed all sorts of awesome stuff to make its way in. The super happy joy energy isn't really the linchpin in manifesting, it is the lack of resistance. Don't put pressure on yourself to be in that space all the time, it's unlikely to happen. Savor the moments when you're there because it's delicious, but do your best not to lament the ones when you're not. That is one of the best ways to get you there more often. But if nothing my mind deemed desirable was manifesting, that would be okay too. That wouldn't mean that anything was going wrong. I have been experiencing a lot of anxiety, but I'm not anxious about it. I have had moments of feeling anger, but I'm not angry about it. I have had moments of feeling scared, but it doesn't scare me. I have moments when I feel really happy and relaxed, but when they go away, I don't lament their absence. I know they'll be back. I have lots of moments where I just feel a sense of peace and that I know everything is okay, that it's always okay, that we are supported and loved by something beyond us that we can't come close to fathoming. And it is always seems to remain on the edge of my consciousness even in moments when I am not exactly feeling great, when negative emotion appears to be dominant. I am in tune with myself enough to know when I should honor my energy and not do certain things just because I think I should, like exercise, and when I know that even if I don't feel like it, making myself do it anyway will be of benefit and I'll be glad I did. Just go with whatever is happening. Let whatever is going on play itself out, and see where it takes you. And one of the keys to just going with it and reaping maximum benefit from whatever the chaos, uncertainty, uncharacteristic behavior and all that jazz is showing is suspending judgment. Non-judgment has really been my mantra during this time. One of my major epiphanies during all this was how much I had been judging myself. It is so second nature, even the most self-aware person may be doing it constantly and barely notice. Our mind thinks judging ourselves is helpful, if we are sure to point out our shortcomings, our mistakes, and failures that will motivate us to do better next time. All that pain we feel from beating ourselves up, from not having what we want, from struggling, will light a fire under our ass to do whatever it takes to get rid of that pain. But it really doesn't work that way, and the judgment is the exact thing that keeps us stuck in all the self-sabotage and unwanted situations. When we aren't judging ourselves, we are showing ourselves love. And when we love ourselves, we do all sorts of things to nurture that self-love, and these acts are what really sets the stage for transformation and for a different reality taking shape around us. If we are everything, that means we will experience all the energies that exist. If we are these infinite beings that are plugged into an existence where everything is one, and the possibilities are infinite, that means that anything that is possible to experience can be experienced by us. Any energy that exists is an energy we can experience. If we came into this human form to explore all we came to explore and play this game, that means that no matter how much we commit ourselves to being who we really are, and living from that space of trust, being supported and loved, we will probably get wrapped up in the other stuff from time to time. Spirit is down for it all because it can't really be negatively affected by any of it. Our human selves can, but that part of us is impervious to hurt, pain, fear, worry and the like because it knows the real deal. And for this reason, I have never believed the purpose of our journey was to totally eliminate negative emotion. I don't believe that being a spiritual person means you should not get angry. I don't think that being enlightened means you have transcended all the human stuff, but rather, that you have a certain mastery and grace in handling said stuff. And by mastery, I don't mean you do it perfectly all the time. We set up these crazy expectations for ourselves and we mean well. We want to be better people. We want to find ways to handle our problems more effectively. We want to change how we react to the situations in our life. We want to reduce the anger, fear and anxiety, and understandably so because it's unpleasant. And while the goal is noble, we set ourselves up for disappointment again and again. We judge ourselves for reactions that we think we shouldn't be having because we should know better by now. We beat ourselves up for dealing with issues that we should have released by now, knowing all we know. But sometimes we are just going to experience these emotions, we are not going to have the enlightened perspectives and reactions. We'll feel heard by other people even though we know we can't ever truly be heard by anyone else. We'll have moments of doubt or fear even though we know we are always being supported by the universe and it will always be okay. We'll get pissed at people and hold them responsible for how we feel. The only thing wrong with these scenarios is the fact we are judging them as wrong and judging ourselves for not being perfect. We can absolutely transform our lives, we can absolutely change our reactions to various situations. Over time, things that may have bothered you a lot in the past may not even trigger any reaction in you now. You can adopt drastically different perspectives and make drastic changes in your life for the better. How you handle the problems in your life, and how you respond to the emotional reactions triggered, can be completely transformed. But as for the idea that somehow you will totally eliminate any shred of doubt, fear, anger, anxiety and other unwanted emotion from your life, that you will never again be in a bad mood, that you will manage to just feel positive emotion every second, that is something you want to release on. So if we're everything, we can experience everything there is to experience. And to me, that means that anything that is happening is okay. So, that's a bit of a peek of where I am now. I hope that you got some helpful nuggets out of this. Just remember it's all good no matter what. You just have to have a little trust in the process and you have to suspend the judgment.